Welcome to Screw the Commute, the entrepreneurial podcast dedicated to getting you out of the car and into the money. With your host, lifelong entrepreneur and multimillionaire, Tom Antion.
Hey everybody, it's Tom here with episode 1112. Now we're going to talk about undervaluing your knowledge. Wow. There's so many people out there that would give you money for just things that are already in your head. All right, let's see. Hope you didn't miss episode 1111. That was instant ads, how fast you can make really beautiful ads and social media posts and everything using this simple AI stuff. Nothing fancy. All right, pick up a copy of my automation ebook at screwthecommute.com/automate free. Version 3.0 is the latest, but talk about short keys in there as a program. Well, it's been discontinued as a program. It's now a browser extension, but it's still extremely powerful. And you are crazy. That's with a K, crazy, like crazy glue, if you don't put these in your business. Okay, let's see. Check out my mentor program at greatinternetmarketingtraining.com and my school at imtcva.org. And I have to say this, certified to operate by SCHEV, the State Council on Higher Education in Virginia, but you don't have to be in Virginia because it's quality distance learning. All right. I really highly suggest that most of you are leaving enormous amounts of money on the table. Even if you haven't screwed the commute and you're going to a regular job, there are things in your head that people would pay for if you just get them into a reasonably inexpensive, saleable format. And the problem that many of you are doing is saying, well, it's too basic. You don't even think of the things that you know so much. You say, everybody knows this, or I'm not an expert enough to write anything or put out a product on this, or it's just too basic. Everybody knows this. No, they don't. And I got so many stories in my life. I'll tell you one that just sticks out is I was trying to fix some broken pipes in the winter on a rental property, copper pipes. And I'm really well-versed in making copper joints that don't leak, and I know what I'm doing. So I would say I'm an intermediate in the plumbing arena. However, I burn up 2 tanks of propane trying to fix this one leak. And I even got the heavy duty yellow propanes that are $15 a tank. And I burn up 2 full tanks trying to do this job. All right. That's $30 right there. Plus all the solder I wasted and flux and hassle and freezing to death and all this stuff. And I'm at the plumbing supply house telling the guys there about this, and there's a real old timer sitting there listening to all this. And I originally thought that he was messing with me. These old timers and us young bucks they're messing with me. So he said, yeah, get yourself a loaf of bread. Just shove it up there in a pipe. And I honest to God thought the guy's messing with me. And I said, oh yeah. All right. Should I use wheat bread or yeah? And he says, no, I ain't kidding there, but kid. You put the, what's happening is there's some water still leaking in near the joint and it's sucking out all the heat, and you ain't ever going to make a good joint when there's water, even a couple drops anywhere near the joint you're trying to make. I said, you're kidding. You're not kidding me. No, I ain't kidding you. You stuff some bread up into the pipe on both sides, and then you make your joint, and then turn the water back on, and then the water is going to wash the bread out, but the bread kept the drips of water from getting near the joint that I was trying to solder. So I did it, and it worked the first time, and it took me about 3 minutes to fix the problem with shoving bread up the pipe. Okay. And do you think I would have been happy to buy a product that told me that a trick like that, plus probably that old guy probably had hundreds of plumbing tricks in his head that were in his head and not available to me other than I ran into them. All right. But so many of you out there have all kinds of tips and tricks on whatever you do for a living, whatever you do for hobbies. And I got to tell you, the beginner market is enormous, and even the intermediate market. And it's not just home improvement stuff. It's anything, in golf, tennis, whatever you happen to be good at, or leadership or sales or customer service, or even the job you're working in now. Unless you have some type of agreement that says you can't make products on what you know, which most of you don't, the companies never even think of such a thing, all right, for most employees, then you can have a product on this. And here's the thing. The product does not have to be something you sell. That's what a lot of people don't understand. So, for instance, there's a lady, Anna White is her name, ANAWHITE. Her website is anna-white.com. The way I found her is I wanted some Adirondack chairs. You have to look that up. I never even knew that was the name of the type of chair I was looking for, that I wanted for out near my fire pit. And I started looking at the prices of these things, and I'm like, oh, crap. Yeah, that's not worth it. Look at that. And they use substandard wood in it, and it's a crappy paint job, and they want $300-$400 for it. No. So I started looking for Adirondack chair plans, and I ran across this site, anna-white.com, and the plans were free. I said, I looked at the chair. It didn't look like I had to be a super great craftsman and have all kinds of super duper power tools to make these chairs. And so I got the plans and I made the chairs. All right. And you say, okay, great. Well, how did the Miss Anna make any money with this? Well, she has people that make stuff with her plans, send her pictures to put in a gallery of all the different products that people made and how they painted them up and how they made, American flags out of the chair, everything you can imagine. And that's called user-generated content, UGC. So she has these galleries that keep adding pages and pages and pages, and let me say pages and pages and pages to her site. And then there's ads that run on her site, and that's appears to me, I never talked to her or interviewed her, but that appears to be where she makes the money, is from ad revenue. And I wouldn't put it past her, with as big as she is now, that she'd be at trade shows for $1,500, a couple $1,000 a day, promoting people's wood or power tools or whatever, kind of sponsorships she probably gets. She might get speaking engagements at those kind of woodworking, or not necessarily woodworking, home improvement shows. I mean, all kinds of potential that I'm sure she's making a very good living on this, because she's been doing this. Was 2 years ago, and she was already big. 2 years ago when I got those plans, and she was already big and had a massive website then. So there is plenty of stuff in your head. I mean, if I interviewed you for, 10 minutes, I could pull out probably 50 different products you could make, or ways for you to make money by with what's already in your head. And you don't have to be a super expert, and you don't have to go for the super advanced market. Now, if you happen to be super advanced, high level, there's a market there too. I buy stuff all the time. I just bought this challenge thing, on the clone stuff I'm working on. And, I'm always trying to learn too, but the beginner and intermediate market is just easily ripe for this stuff, because you don't have to be a super duper expert. You just have to be further ahead than them. It kind of reminds me of that joke about, if you get attacked by a bear, you don't have to be faster than the bear. You just have to be faster than your friend who's running away. So you don't have to be a super expert to really turn this into a great side hustle, and eventually it could totally replace your income. And then you screw the commute, right? That's what I'm all about. All right, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Don't undervalue your stuff. Start really searching your mind to the things your hobbies and the things you're good at, the things you do at work. And like I said, there's literally thousands of potential things out there and markets for all of them. All right, we will catch you on the next episode. Check out my mentor program, greatinternetmarketingtraining.com, and my distance learning school, highly qualified school and certified by the state of Virginia with distance learning. So it's imtcva.org. It'll save you hundreds of thousands of bucks sending your kids to some 4-year indoctrination camps, and then they compete for jobs at Starbucks. That sucks. All right, catch you all in the next episode. See you later.